No one noticed the young woman standing near the crowded airport gate. People rushed past her with rolling suitcases, coffee cups, and phones pressed to their ears. She tried to speak, but no sound came out, only a small, desperate movement of her hands. And then, in the middle of all that noise and hurry, one little girl stopped. She saw something no one else did. Before this story ends, you'll understand how one small act of kindness can change a life forever. Before we begin, take a quick moment to support the channel. If stories like this move your heart, please subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. It really helps us grow here at your channel name, and it allows us to keep sharing stories that remind us of the goodness still alive in the world. Now, let me tell you what happened. The airport was packed that afternoon. Flights were delayed, announcements echoed through loudspeakers, and families crowded around charging stations. The smell of fast food mixed with jet fuel, and impatience filled the air. Near Gate 47 stood a young deaf woman named Lena. She was in her early 20s, small in frame, wearing a faded blue hoodie and holding a worn backpack close to her chest. Her hair was pulled back into a messy ponytail, and her eyes darted nervously from screen to screen. Lena couldn't hear the announcements. She couldn't hear her flight being changed, and she couldn't hear the staff calling out boarding instructions. She had flown before, but never alone. This time, she had no choice. Her mother was sick back home, and Lena was trying to reach her as quickly as possible. Her phone battery had died an hour earlier. Lena walked up to the airline counter, pointed at the screen, and tried to explain using hand gestures. The agent, overwhelmed and distracted, shook her head and pointed Lena toward a long customer service line. Lena tried again, slowly signing, her face tight with worry. The agent sighed, spoke loudly, as if volume could fix everything, and turned to the next passenger. Lena stepped back, her hands trembling. She moved closer to the gate, hoping to read lips or catch something on the screen. But the gate number suddenly changed, and people rushed in another direction. Lena didn't know where to go. Her chest tightened, tears burned in her eyes. She raised her hands again, making a simple sign she had learned as a child, a silent signal for help. Not dramatic, not loud, just hopeful. No one stopped, except a little girl. Her name was Sophie. She was 8 years old, traveling with her dad to visit her grandma. Sophie had been sitting on the floor, coloring in a notebook, her legs crossed, humming softly to herself. When she looked up, she saw Lena's hands moving in the air. Sophie froze. Her mom had taught her some basic sign language before she passed away. Just a few signs. Hello, thank you, help. Sophie stood up slowly, staring at Lena with wide eyes. She tugged on her dad's sleeve. "Daddy," she whispered. "That lady is asking for help." Her dad barely looked up from his phone. "Sweetie, stay close. Airports are busy." "But Daddy," Sophie insisted, pointing. "She's deaf. I think she's scared." Her dad finally looked where Sophie was pointing. He saw Lena standing alone, her shoulders hunched, eyes glossy with tears. Sophie didn't wait for permission. She walked straight up to Lena and lifted her small hand. Carefully, she made the sign for help. Lena gasped. Her eyes widened in disbelief. She nodded quickly, her hands moving faster now, signing words Sophie didn't fully understand. But Sophie didn't panic. She smiled gently and made another sign wait. Then she ran back to her dad. "Daddy." "She can't hear," Sophie said urgently. "She doesn't know where her flight is. We have to help her." Her dad hesitated. He glanced at the time. They had their own boarding soon. Then he looked back at Lena, and something softened in him. "Okay," he said quietly. "Let's help." Together they walked to the airline counter again. This time, Sophie stood right beside Lena, holding her hand. The agent looked up, already tired. "She's deaf," Sophie said clearly. "She needs help finding her flight." The agent paused. Her expression changed. "Oh," she said softly. "I didn't realize." She typed quickly on her computer, then turned the screen so Lena could read. Her flight had been moved to another terminal. Boarding had already started. Lena's face went pale. The agent grabbed a phone and called for assistance. Within minutes, an airport staff member arrived with a cart to take Lena to the new gate. Before Lena stepped away, she knelt down in front of Sophie. With shaking hands, Lena signed "Thank you." Sophie didn't know the sign, but she understood. She wrapped her arms around Lena in a tight hug. Lena broke down. Tears streamed down her face as she held that little girl, the first person who truly saw her that day. People nearby noticed now. Some looked away in embarrassment, others wiped their eyes. As Lena was wheeled away, she turned back one last time. She pressed her hand to her heart and smiled through her tears. Sophie waved until she disappeared from sight. Later that evening, Sophie asked her dad a quiet question. "Daddy," she said, "why didn't anyone else help her?" Her dad thought for a long moment. "Sometimes," he said gently, "people are so busy that they forget to look." Sophie nodded slowly. "I'm glad I looked." Weeks later, Lena posted a message online with the help of a friend. She shared her story, hoping to find the little girl who helped her in the airport. The post went viral. When Sophie's dad saw it, he showed it to her. Sophie's eyes lit up. "That's her," she shouted. They connected through messages. Lena explained that she had made it home in time. Her mother had been able to see her daughter again. Lena wrote, "Your kindness saved me when I felt invisible." Sophie printed that message and taped it above her bed. Years will pass. Sophie will grow up. Lena will continue her life. But neither of them will ever forget that moment. Because kindness doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes, it's a silent signal and a child brave enough to answer it. And maybe the real lesson is this: in a world full of noise, the most powerful thing you can do is notice. If this story touched your heart, let it remind you to slow down, look around, and choose kindness even when it's inconvenient. Because you never know whose life you might change just by stopping.